John, there he is. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you.
My name's John Kirtley. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Where have you been?
Hey, listen, lots of travel. We've talked about it before on this wonderful podcast that we have going here, that we've got lives, we've got day jobs, we've got families. So I had 2 weeks of back-to-back travel. Both of them required me to be in a different city on Sunday, which everybody out there that knows about work travel, the last thing you want to do is on a Sunday. But sacrifices you got to make when, part of a team, part of a company. Well, it is what it is.
Thank you for the inaugural address there, Mike.
Well, hey, let's back it up though, because it's maybe on the podcast, but as far as the grand scheme of things, and how often that I see you in person, where I can grab your face, it's typically, I don't know, 8 months, 10 months. But in this case, it's been only about 3 or 4 weeks right before this travel, because we got together in Indianapolis. For those that don't know, Indianapolis is sort of a meeting middle zone for John and I, where we live. Came to see John for his birthday, and he fucked the whole thing up pretty much. In vintage John Kirtley fashion, you fucked it up.
We met for my birthday, although I don't remember anyone singing happy birthday to me. Maybe I was too much shrimp cocktail. My ears were burning. It was a full-fledged fire in my. No,
there was no singing of the birthday. I hate birthdays. I was only there because I don't want attention to a birthday.
Well, you throw around, when we're doing an event like that, you throw around hours and time like other people throw around like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You're throwing an hour here, 5 hours this way, and plus I'm switching time zones. I'm driving a car. I love, my biggest annoyance right now is when people know that you're driving, but they continue to text you. Call, make a phone call. Say, this is when we're going to meet. Don't just send me.
Okay. I need you to stop. Had we talked during the week leading up to the event, had we said some things and, hey, this is what we're doing and all that?
Yeah.
Okay. Multiple times I told you the schedule.
I don't think we set the scene enough, but go ahead.
Should we reverse that? We were just
real quick. Okay, I live in Peoria, Illinois. You live in Columbus, Ohio. Midpoint is Indianapolis, Indiana. You and Marty, your brother, we're going to meet with the wives in Indy to have a grand old goddamn time
for your birthday.
For my birthday.
Anyway, so we talked about it through the week. Plans. We talked about getting the hotel, which we'll get to. What we're going to do, and we said we really don't know what we're going to do. Can't we? We know we don't want to go sit down at dinner, but let's just meet there and get drunk and figure out what happens after that. Was basically the plan, which was fine. I told you several times throughout the week, hey, my brother's got a thing, whatever. We should be taking off around 12:30, 1 o'clock. 12:30, 1 o'clock. But I will text you, John, when we're doing that, so you know about what time we're going to arrive, because you were a little bit longer than us. At 11 a.m., I get a text that says, wheels up. See you in a couple hours. So at 11 a.m., you have left Peoria. Okay.
That's right.
You are scheduled to be there at about 2 o'clock. Okay. Indianapolis time.
You're already off. I think it was like 3 o'clock, but that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. So we were talking about 3 o'clock, whatever. By the way, from Columbus, it's a 2-hour drive. It's a little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I told John we'd be leaving about 12:31, but I also told him I would text him or anything like that. The morning gets there, my brother comes over. Now, if you know here's the part of you have to understand who my brother is and the 25 to 30 year history of how we bust his balls and the jokes that we say about my brother. If you know him, I'm trying to think of a word for him with this, but he pulls into my driveway at 1 o'clock, right about on time. And he gets out and starts messing with the roof rack. Okay. Like on his car. Yeah. See the face you're making because right. So that's something that that's just vintage my brother. Okay. He's gonna it's the trip, this roof rack. Now I had nothing to do with the trip.
Rack. Are you guys
nothing to do with the trip? No, there was no luggage or anything up there. So he's out there and I go, what are you doing? It's like, not like he'll start a whole project. He'll get into the engine if he hears like a click or you never know. So he's up on the roof and he's like fucking with this roof rack. And I'm like, hey dude, like what's going on? What are you doing? He goes, this thing's making a noise. I gotta get it off here. I'm gonna put it in your garage and I'll just get it when we come back Sunday. So, okay. So I think it's funny, right? I take a picture of him up on the roof rack. I send it to John. It comes with a message. Marty's installing a roof rack. We should be out of here in 2 to 3 hours. You see that? You just laughed. You just laughed very hard. Why can't you get that in a text? Why can't you pick up on that in a text?
This is the first time I've heard the context of it in a
why can't you
sense of humor?
John,
I honestly, it's the first time I've heard that story. It's funny.
No, I know it's funny. I wrote it. I did it. I know it's funny.
But I'm driving and you send me this.
Hold on.
We'll be there 2 to 3 hours. I'm like,
okay, so John did see it. John sees this. Now, if that's me and I were dumb enough to take it literally, which would never happen because I would get the comedy, I would read it, I would read into it. Mixer Marty on the roof, haha, funny, see you in a bit. Okay. So, but if I did, I would call you, be like, whoa, what do you mean? 2 to 3 hours? Come on. What's John do?
I did say,
no.
I was like, God damn it. We left early and now they're going to be late.
Check the tapes. Right. Check the tapes. You said none of that. You didn't even respond. Now we're on our way.
Driving the car. Go ahead.
Are you the first and only person that can't text and drive? People text and drive. It's okay.
I can't
ignore the messages
in the car. All right, go ahead. I can hit yes and no, that type of thing.
Okay. A lot of people can do more than that. Anyway, what's John do? He just goes on about his day with right then, matter of fact assumption that we won't be there for another, we're not even leaving for another 2 to 3 hours. So what happens? Long story short, we get to Indianapolis. We check into the biggest pile of shit hotel in Indianapolis.
Unreal. On the canal. I didn't even know Indianapolis had a canal.
I know. Remember
open sewer is what it is.
It was the pictures of this hotel. It's unbelievable how beautiful they made them look online. No, it was a Renaissance or whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't. We knew going into it wasn't going to be. I know we knew it wasn't going to be anything great, but we just needed a place to lay our heads. It's a 24-hour trip. So we get to the hotel 3:15, right on time. Start texting John. They stop at a mall like an hour and a half away and like have lunch and go shopping and don't plan on getting to Indianapolis till 6 p.m. So sure enough, we went to the JW Marriott bar to wait for John and his lovely wife. They showed up 3 hours later.
Oh my God. First of all, is there someone named John in your basement there? Or like when you say John, are you talking about me? Why can't you just say you? I don't understand why you're talking in the third person.
I don't know.
Right here.
I don't know. I guess I'm talking to the audience, which
I think they know who you're talking about. There's only 2 of us on the screen. But anyway. Thank you for calling my wife lovely. That's very nice. First of all, we actually got to Indianapolis at the appointed time, which I think was like 3:30, 3 o'clock. And I thought I had an hour and a half to kill or 2. So we went shopping. We had a great time. We got a pair of shoes. Charity got a dress for the evening, I believe. And then
why do you have such a history of just doing this?
Then the hammer drops. We're here. I love that.
3 o'clock.
Oh yeah, we're here. I'm like,
scheduled time.
Now let me tell you, I thought that was a joke. I said, surely they're not there. I think he's just pulling my chain.
What is wrong with you?
No, you were.
What is wrong with you?
The other best part was
go.
Then you go. April and Mandy will be ready in 20 minutes. Now, what grown, beautiful woman can get ready in 20 minutes to do anything? I thought that was a joke. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, right. Your wives are gonna be ready in 20 minutes. Ha ha. That's a good one.
You know why?
You mean an hour and 20 minutes?
Because we were going to Indianapolis, which is nothing, to go out to no dinner, just to like bars and figure it out. They showered and got ready and just put on like,
in like 10 minutes. It's amazing.
They just, no. Before we left Columbus, we didn't leave till 1 p.m., John.
I cannot keep track of the times.
They got ready in the morning. We didn't get up in the car at 7 a.m. and drive 9 hours.
You guys got ready in Columbus, got in a car and drove for 3 hours, and you're still ready, fresh as a daisy.
It's a 2-hour drive. You go upstairs, you're freshen up. I didn't change. I wore jeans or whatever I had on.
2-hour flight. It's not a 2-hour drive.
I don't know. I don't know what
Columbus.
I don't know what your problem is, but it's a little over a 2-hour drive, and you get ready beforehand. So yeah, they went upstairs. Said, April, you got about 10-15 minutes here. Let's go down to the bar, which our hotel.
Then there was a debacle with. Now we can see the JW Marriott where you were from our. First of all, let's talk about the hotel. We checked into the hotel. There is a dog food bowl and a bowl for dog to drink water right next to the elevator. That's the caliber. I want to put that on the review on the Bonvoy app and see what kind of reaction it gets. Who the hell puts a dog food bowl in a hotel lobby?
I don't know.
I mean, it was crazy.
My wife was saying that she thinks that hotel at the time was being used for like displaced families.
Oh, it's probably Ukrainian refugees staying there now.
Yeah, well, now probably. I don't know.
It looked like It looked like a college dorm. I mean, I thought I was going down I was going to the cafeteria for the refried beans.
Yeah.
So who picked the hotel, by the way?
I'll take responsibility.
Excuse me, Jeff. Picked the hotel.
Yeah, I was. I'll take responsibility.
All right, let's get to the good part. So we finally
get there at 6 o'clock. We're already drunk.
It's my God, the night's
and we
over.
ate. And we
6 o'clock on a Saturday. The night's over. I mean, ruined.
Timing. We had just ate. You're showing up starving.
Yeah. I mean, it's just screwed. I mean, geez, if we got there at 3:30, our day would have been totally different. We probably made it to dinner. So we have a great time. We have drinks. Then we go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse. By the way, I've been there twice in the last month. And I learned for the first time that St. Elmo's Steakhouse in Indianapolis has no relationship whatsoever to St. Elmo's Fire, which has the greatest soundtrack of all time.
This is the stuff that I have to deal. This is don't John, don't do that. I can
feel a man in motion, something like that.
Oh my goodness!
But so I was shocked that there is no connection. Then we had the waitress. She loved us.
Oh, biggest bitch I've ever come across as far as a waitress, and a beautiful
annoy you with our $500 bill.
Yeah, my goodness. We got to share we'll share a picture on social media. They didn't have 5, 6 low chairs if we're sitting around like a low table with a fire. So John we had to bring over a bar stool chair for John, and he sat next to we were passing appetizers up to him from our seats.
It was like
I'll put a picture on.
It was like a game of Tetris. Like things were coming and going. Looked like the skyline of New York. Buildings like this.
I just don't understand how we can draw up such a very simple arrival. Literally, assuming we went to bed around midnight. I don't have any idea. Last thing I remember,
you guys
were in the lobby just crushing Doritos because that's all they had was a vending machine. But
yeah, then the next morning, you're like, April is sick or something like that. She's slow moving. I get downstairs, you guys are packed and walking out the door. I'm like, what? You need to talk more literally about what, like.
She was throwing up.
I'm kind of like, hey, we're getting breakfast.
She was throwing up. And
okay, then you say, then you come down
when we stopped on the way home and somewhere in the middle of Indianapolis.
But somehow in between in that 10-minute span, she looked great enough to like check out, and you guys are all packed. You got the luggage, the handle on the luggage.
One thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. I said my wife's in bad shape.
Okay, but you're like ready to go. It's like, calm down. Like, it was just, anyway. So we had a great time though at St. Elmo's. The shrimp cocktail with the spice fire cocktail sauce. If anyone's ever been there, wow, blow your nostril, fry your eyebrows off. So that was interesting, but it was a great time. I really appreciate you guys coming. And even though we didn't get started until 6 o'clock and drank for 8 straight hours instead of 12 or 10,
10:30. Yeah,
it was a great time. It was my birthday. Amazingly, I still paid my bill. I don't remember anyone buying me any drinks. So, it's just it was a very peculiar birthday celebration, to say the least.
Interesting. I remember some.
I think I might have paid for your dinner. Happy birthday.
We didn't have dinner. You didn't want to have dinner. We went and we had some drinks and we had some food ordered to us because you hadn't eaten yet. That's what we did. By the way, St. Elmo's. Yeah, St. Elmo's was good.
So Indianapolis, it's a great town. I highly recommend it. And yeah, it's kind of at the crossroads of America. It's in between everything. So
I don't recommend it at all. What's there to recommend about it?
Well, people that live in Chicago or something like that, or Cincinnati. I mean, it's a cool place to kind of meet halfway. I think, it's easy to get to.
In the instance that you're trying to meet somebody and it is equal distance driving for the both of you or whatever parties, sure, it's a fine place to meet.
Yeah, I mean, the Final Four is there, the Super Bowl, the Big Ten championship, but what do they know? It must be a horrible place for things like that.
I didn't get it. Maybe it was the hotel.
Indianapolis 500's there. Horrible venue though.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyway, since we have last been together, though, there's been some momentous current events, Jeffrey. That can't go unnoticed or that we can't ignore.
Let's start
That
with
is the
last night's.
situation
Get
going-
right in.
What's that?
Start with last night's. We'll jump right into that
Yes,
one.
that's what I was leading up to. And that is Will Smith slapping one of my favorite comedians of all time, Chris Rock. And this has completely blown up social media today.
Oh,
Full-fledged
God.
social media wildfire over the Oscars last night. So
Great memes
yes. Oh, fantastic memes.
all day long.
I couldn't even believe it. Like, some people thought it was staged, but to set the scene,
No.
Chris Rock made an inappropriate joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who has some sort of disease.
Why is that
in her hair
inappropriate
salon.
joke?
Oh, I think it's horrible. I thought it was a horrible joke. It's just very stupid. I mean, she had cancer. I mean, is that open season 2? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah,
And what was he trying? What reaction? Will Smith's jacked up. He would whip Chris Rock's ass any day.
So what? That's nothing to do with it.
Still, Will
cares?
Smith's completely out of line, and another like. Why can't we have fun? Everything right now, I feel, is ruined. The NFL's ruined. The baseball can't play on time. St.
Baseball
Peter's made the
sucks.
Elite 8. Bracket sucks. So
Elite Eight sucked. We'll get into that maybe in a second, just because of teams like St. Peter's. But no, first of all, I listen. I am fine with getting yours. If you open your mouth to the wrong person or this or that, hey man,
Yep.
I certainly open my mouth quite often, but let me tell you, I'm careful of who it would be to, and most of the time it's to somebody I know I can get away with it. Okay, it's very good friends and busting balls real hard and everything else. You say something out of line and keep on somebody or something like that, you got to prepare to deal with maybe a reaction that you wouldn't have or that you don't
That's
like.
right.
But dude, find him. You're both in the same building. Next commercial break, get up, and you have access to everything. I'm sure. Go find them, grab them by the throat where no one's around. You walk up in front of all those people and do that over a joke. It looked like such an asshole. Ruined his what would have been an incredible night. His best actor, his first Oscar. He ruined the whole thing. He looked like a complete asshole.
I mean, the amount of time it took him to walk up there, and not one time did he think, I should not do this.
Right.
He could have flipped in the bird. He could have mouthed, go fuck yourself. There's a million different reactions.
Well, he could have said when he was yelling, take my wife's name. He could have done that from right here. And Rock knew he was serious.
Wait for a commercial and you go yell at him. I mean, what
yeah,
the hell?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. For the people, when it did look staged right when he came up. And then you knew by Rock's reaction that it was not instantly
unscripted.
Oh, he was shook. He was shook. But
yeah, I mean,
how do you get more professional than that? Because when his first instinct before it really set in was fabulous. He's like, that's the greatest night in show television history. I mean, he nailed it with a joke. It was perfect professionalism, everything. And then it started to set in, and Will Smith's starting to yell at him, and he's saying, I actually can't believe that Rock didn't lay the hammer down at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, go after him. Yeah, I would have just tackled him.
No. Then you look stupid too, and everything else. Right. I'm talking with comedy and start to just
like
go off. You think that's the first time Chris Rock's been heckled? He probably
could have buried him. Bel Air?
Yeah, I mean, he could have just
go back.
Tee off on him and said something else about Jada, but he's like, take my wife's name out your fucking mouth, and Rock's like, I will now. And he was like, okay, man, like chill. And then he tried to move on because he's a professional and he understands the stage he's on, and he's got class and all those types of things that Will Smith clearly doesn't. But he looked like a complete idiot doing that. I still can't believe, like you said, the process. We're these are middle-aged older men. You learn from experience. You know this type of stuff. Where to, everything I do in my life now, I try not to have that initial reaction. If something gets me worked up, an email or a text or some conversation at work, I'm like, don't even respond until you have a different perspective. Wait a couple hours. In the heat of the moment, he can't stop himself from walking over there.
He's been in stressful situations before. I mean, the guy, I mean, he had a bad night, and he was up for Best Actor. He wins, and now they're talking about throwing him out of the Academy. He probably gets stripped of his Oscar. I mean, it's just it wasn't heat of the moment. I mean,
well, how come he doesn't get thrown out of the fucking building?
I know. Can you imagine if someone else slapped the host?
I mean,
he'd be arrested. But it's Will Smith. He got to sit there and get his award.
And he was laughing and yucking it up as people were coming up.
Can I go and slap Chris Rock? What would happen to me?
Yeah.
it's like, not to bring up the politics again, but when people were breaking into the Capitol now,
you love that.
I do. If I jump the line at an airport and start running, I expect to be shot. These people are busting into the Capitol, and they just let them go in. I don't know. Those are two separate situations, obviously, but yeah, why wasn't Will Smith escorted out of the building? Like, get out of here.
Yeah, I doubt you have to have much security at the Oscars on the inside. You just have to make sure there's no wackos from the outside getting in during that type of scene, right? Some stalkers, some weird shit, stuff like that. But other than that, how is there no security at the Oscars at all? Now, I will say, it's open to just walk right up. It's not like a concert where they're performing. You can just walk up. That's the whole point. It's just cameraman. So I would say to anybody that was working, it was probably like, oh, what? This isn't in the notes. Like, what's this? Or this will be funny, because Rock started laughing. I thought he put his face down to kind of like, what are you going to say to me? Like, all right, let's hear it. Like, he put his face right. He leaned right into it and was like, what do you got? Type of thing. Because he started laughing when he walked up. He was not expecting that. So I'm sure everybody else standing around wasn't like, oh, fuck, someone go grab him. Just let it happen.
Yeah. Just real quick, though. Why Chris Rock thought that was a good joke. And it was about G.I. Jane, which is a movie that's like 30 years old. No one probably even got it. It was just, I don't know. Also, there's just,
it wasn't
even if Will Smith had not reacted, probably Chris Rock would have got headlines for making a joke about that.
I doubt it. It was so quick. It was over so quick. He said, Jada, I love you. That was how he opened it. What's it? G.I. Jane 2 coming out. And then he moved on. It would have been no big deal.
I guess. I don't know.
I think he had more material after that was going to be good. He actually had a really good one right after that.
I did not watch it.
He said something about, because it was up for documentary. That was the next thing he was talking about. And he said something about people watch documentaries and think they did something smart, like read a book, and really they just got high and watched Netflix. And he had a good delivery with it and the whole 9 yards. But it was such a weird room at that point that he could barely deliver it. And
yeah, it's amazing. I'll give him credit for being a professional and carrying on. I don't know how the hell he finished. He wasn't the host, though. He was the presenter.
He wasn't he was just a presenter, so he couldn't come back out. I was hoping if he was the host, he would have kept coming out and lighting them up. That would have been, what if that were the case? What if he was the host? He's got to come out the rest of the night. Now we're going to have a brawl. Now it's setting into him. He's getting more angry. I can't believe he hasn't made a comment or anything yet, or an interview or anything. He's just very smart by him, by just, you know what, I'm above this.
Yeah, he's hoping it go. Yeah, don't say anything about it and make, it'll be, in today's media environment.
I just think he doesn't give a shit. Will Smith looks like the jackass. He doesn't.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing to say.
Yeah.
So the other current event, Jeff, that you and I are conversing about is the tragedy unfolding in Ukraine. And we don't want to get into some of the gory details, but
I was going to make a joke about them earlier when you said
go ahead. I'm sure.
Well,
go ahead,
you said Ukraine refugees at that hotel. I said, I don't know if they would have stayed there. They would have walked in and went, nah, I'm good. Send me somewhere else. I'll go to a bomb shelter.
Yeah. Well, also the repeated references to the Seinfeld episode where the Ukrainian smashes the wrist board.
Can't stop. It's the only thing as soon as the word Ukraine is uttered, I think about that scene on the subway in Seinfeld, and the word Ukraine is funny to me. Not trying to make light of the situation, but it's funny to me.
That guy was prophetic. You call the Ukraine weak, I smash your board. That's basically what they're doing. They're smashing some boards, not without their own problems. But
part of my travels last week, I was in Dallas. There was tornadoes. I was in a restaurant. We're about to order dinner. You hear this loudspeaker go over. They take us to the tunnels. Okay, all these people are shoveling out in business suits and everything. And we get into the tunnel, and this guy goes, well, now you know how the people in Ukraine feel. And yeah, nobody said a word. I did. I started laughing, not that the joke was funny. I laughed at what an awful timing and just horrible joke it was.
You gotta repeat that again. I don't quite believe what I heard. He said what again?
I'm in Dallas. We're getting into the bomb shelter. It's really the tunnel. It's the underneath of the whole resort where all the catering and people do the behind the scenes work.
Because there's tornadoes.
Because there's tornadoes, and there were big tornadoes, and a bunch of shit happened 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So we get in there. People are just kind of shuffling in, don't know what's going on, and this one guy goes, well, yeah, now you know how the people of Ukraine feel.
There's an idiot in every group.
It was unbelievable. I want to turn around and go, what kind of asshole just says, first of all, Don't talk. It's a bunch of strangers in here. There's no one wants to hear any other human being talk. Can people just quit talking to strangers? We learn that very, very young, and people revert back to it when they're old. I think we need to hear it again. Quit talking to strangers when they don't want to be in game.
It's
anyway, it wasn't good. I laughed at well, we weren't very concerned.
I know, I get it.
It was still a horrible joke and horrible timing, but I laughed at what a joke he was, is what I laughed at. So I did bust out laughing. I was not the only person.
There are some silver linings in this whole thing. And we've talked about patriotism quite a bit on the podcast, but I do feel like for this past month, there has been a strand of unity in the United States over Ukraine. It has brought us a little closer together. There's been less, I think, political arguing going on. And
maybe it moves it out of our backyard, right? Like, it's over there.
It is over there. The president, he has good days and bad days. I don't sense a lot of criticism, or there's some hope that he's trying to make some progress. I don't know if I could be misreading this, but I feel like there's for the first time in a long time, something we're all getting behind together as a country.
I do agree. I just don't. It doesn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Well, it's better than arguing about Donald Trump, is what I'm saying.
That part of it is. I think
Harris.
Oh God. I think I'm talking about two different things here.
But people
I agree with you with everybody's kind of rooting for Ukraine.
It's a rallying cry.
It is a rallying cry, and everybody from the United States should still hate Russia. They're still the enemy, the rivalry, CCCP. Okay, all this
it's
stuff.
Good to get that. We at least got that box checked. We hate
Russia.
So
so that's the unifying event. I think where I was going with it is, I also am tired. Like in my own neighborhood, I live in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio, and there's a flag out. We stand with Ukraine. Well, that's not doing anything. I don't know. Go donate or something privately. Your flag on your front porch is not doing anything.
Podcast, the donation and then bragging about it, or the flying these. I stand with. What was the one, pray for Paris or something like that after something.
Yeah, no one's going over and really praying. They're just typing it on social media or putting a flag out. You stand with Ukraine. Okay, well, how about go fight for them? Otherwise, they don't really give a shit that you hung a flag out. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't do anything. But yes, I will agree with you. The war is uniting this country to a degree.
You don't think Volodymyr Zelensky is hoping that people in Columbus are waving their Ukrainian flags and wearing "Pray for Ukraine" T-shirts around while they're shopping at Easton?
Yeah, right.
America's really, we're really going all in there. They're just
gripping it hard. They're, they put on their Twitter, "I stand with Ukraine, prayers up." And before they set their phone down, the remote's hitting Netflix to watch Lakers Showtime. Okay, they don't care. They just want people to think they care.
Watch the final. They're turn on March Madness.
Yeah.
So how do we, Jeff? Because it's been a great conversation, and I know
I love these conversations. By the way, they're my favorite. Yeah. They're random. They're stupid. They're great.
Keeping the podcast going. What do we have to do to make sure you're still committed, and that we're going to stay on schedule, and that our fans are not going to wait another 3.5 months to hear from you?
3.5 months?
No, I'm just kidding.
Weeks. No, I tell you what, man. I just said before I even knew what you were going to say there, you saw my reaction to how excited I got about this conversation and loving it and whatever else. It's a bitch, man. The people that get paid to do this, which I believe that someday you and I could do something like this for a living, or at least get paid for it. Maybe it's not the end all be all, but we could do it on a much more I don't know,
grandiose.
Yeah, but I don't want to say like daily, like these guys that I watch that go in there daily and have this conversation and everything. It's I think a lot of their content sucks. But also
AM talk radio hosts, most of you guys are bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're terrible.
We're coming to take your job.
But the good podcasts out there, these guys that do it, man, it's their life. They're stand-up comedians, or they've already kind of have a platform going in. I'm blown away by how tough this is to kind of keep going when you have 2 young kids and everything else. But I love doing it. And I think that you and I both have a talent for it. The guests are another thing that I thought would just being transparent, that I thought would be a lot more simple. Not simple, but I thought I could be reaching out to people left and right and not getting in line. I'm not trying to say like I expected to have some grand thing. and I'm so great and people just be getting in line. Oh, we want to be on that show. But I thought a lot more people that I know that I've reached out to, and it's okay. You know, they don't want to do it. There's people that it's not for everybody, or they want to see what we're doing. I just thought there'd be a lot more of that coming up. So we gotta continue with new ideas, get creative. And
you know what it is? I overestimate or underestimate how scared people are to talk in public or to make a spectacle of themselves. And that's part of it. When people say podcast, they got to put on a headset and a microphone. I mean, they might want to talk to you, but there's no chance in hell they're doing that.
Yeah, as soon as people know they're going to get recorded, and we
and
live in such a you know, hyperbole with sensitivity, and what is, you know, you could have a whole career and you say one thing, or somebody digs up a tweet you sent 20 years ago and it had a racial undertone to it, even if it was a joke, you're fucked. So that is part of our society, which is sad. But at the same time, like, I don't know, who gives a shit? First of all, you only say what you say. I mean, just don't say anything you'd ever regret. I would never say anything I would regret. You know what I mean? You just get on and talk.
These people with their expectation of privacy, and what's wrong with them?
Yeah.
No, I think you and I just live like wide open. I don't think, you know, everyone knows how I feel, and I don't care. Like,
I understand.
The more people, the better. But a lot of people that I think that you're talking to, my point is, they probably are just scared to death that a bunch of people will see them, you know, on a camera. I mean, it's just, my wife, I mean, Charity would not, she doesn't even take pictures barely. I mean, there's a lot of people like that. Yeah,
but that's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about people that reached out to, that play, you know, that play audiences and play in front of huge crowds, athletes, you know, all these things. Tyvis Powell was on the podcast, the last episode we cut, and he is so fun and so awesome and so charismatic. And we connected through Twitter just based on something that was going on. And we've texted since, and I told him, you know, when you come to Columbus, I'll, you know, meet you somewhere and let's go to dinner. I'll buy you some drinks just to meet you in person. Thank you. And he couldn't have been more respectful. Like, yeah, thank you for having me on. I mean, what a great dude. I mean, he's played in front of stadiums and done all this stuff. He's just willing to come on a podcast and share. He's getting into the industry, and I don't know if he just went to it to be cool, or to kind of keep refining his craft that he's getting into. Who knows? But it's that simple. Come on, folks. Come on and talk and bullshit.
Hey, we got to be more patient. I mean, most people that do this have been doing it for years, if not.
Well, they have a platform. They have a platform, so there's a trust when someone comes on, and hopefully we're putting enough stuff down on tape that we continue to talk. But at the same time,
you are getting pretty slick on the Instagram reels and the social media. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, we hiring professionals that don't want to get paid.
Send resumes to checkthetapes@gmail.com.
How do you think about? I think that I should go down to. I live close enough to a couple colleges, okay, around the area. I should open up job fairs.
Yes.
And like, do you remember Darren, the intern?
Are we on LinkedIn yet?
You don't remember Darren, the intern for America? I mean, that's all I think about.
This big ball of oil out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when he comes across the
We need an intern. That's our charge for the next couple months. We need to find an Ohio State intern or Capital or somebody like that can be with you as your little sidekick there in Crooked Tavern.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we would have a ball. I want to film interviewing them, at least audio wise. Film giving them their interviews. Wouldn't that be good?
What are your qualifications for this job? Nothing. Oh, you're hired.
I love when Darren Kramer comes across the hallway, and he looks at Jerry and he goes, "It's something about going to the coffee shop." Jerry goes, "We're not going to the coffee shop anymore." Kramer goes, "When did this happen?" Before Jerry could spit it out, he goes, "Darren!" And he storms out of the room back to his apartment because he didn't get the update that they weren't going to the coffee shop. Oh, that episode is so great. But anyway, I would like to have an intern to do social media. But listen, hey, it's not an unpaid internship. There's going to be perks and payments and things and dinners, and you never know.
It's unpaid from this half of the screen.
Yeah, sure. John will have nothing to do with any kind of monetary.
No, I'll take him to St. Elmo's Fire or St. Elmo's Steakhouse.
No, but you know, hey, they could blow up social media, and pretty soon we all start getting paid. So maybe an intern has the right amount of craziness in them to say, yeah, I'll go try that. If that's you out there listening, bring it on, baby.
That's right. Just like when Seinfeld added Elaine to the cast, that's when they took off. But let's not make it another couple months before we say hello to our faithful following.
Yeah.
These are fun, and it's good to see it, brother.
Yeah, and that's a good catch up on some current events. Silly conversation, but those are my favorite. It's a good way to pass some time, have a drink. Let's get some new shit going too.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. It's about time for me to have a drink, so I'm
Work-
out of here.
Work on reading people a little bit. Work on getting my jokes. I've been telling them to you for 40 years.
Work
I
on
know you
reading
get them.
Okay, I'll work
No,
on
reading
reading text while I'm
people-
driving 80 miles an hour. All right, I'll work on that.
I please do. Please work on that. I'm a phenomenal texter. No one's
Call.
children aren't in the car.
Did I finish my complaint?
It's just
My
you and your
kids do
wife.
this all the time. My kids know I'm driving, and they repeatedly text, and then they'll say, "Dad, like my phone's yelling at me." I'm like, "Do you understand that I cannot read text? Call."
Red lights, roads with no other cars on them. There's plenty of times to text. It's no surprise. You can't fucking drive anyway. You've never been able to drive. You stink at it. It's no surprise. All right, buddy.
The rest of the time is yours. Bye.
Enjoy.